I really need to start getting to bed at 10 p.m. like I've told myself because I am really tired. Hello again, team. It's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and welcome back for day 8 of my Month of Planning with Me series. As per usual, before we jump into the planning aspect of things, we're first going to have a look at today's tidbit. In today's tidbit, I'm going to show you guys how Vogel and I do our weekly budgeting. We try to do this once a week on a Monday, because otherwise, something that should only take maybe half an hour ends up taking an hour and a half. Throughout each week, we collect all our receipts from our purchases, and then we go through them together during our Monday budgeting slot. In short, this really just involves us making sure that we've put money into our accounts for bills that are coming up, recording any purchases that we made individually, and then checking off with each other who owes what amount for what. We don't pool our incomes, so instead we just split shared items and pay for our own things. It's a system that works well for us, and I know that other systems will work better for others, but this is what we do. So for me recording my spending, I just start with anything that isn't a shared item, and in particular I start with anything that I paid for in cash. There usually isn't an awful lot in that category, because I pretty much exclusively use my EFTPOS card, but because I won't have a record of those purchases on my bank statements, I do like to start there. On my budget, I just record the date the purchase was made, the category and subcategory it falls under, the amount, and then a note about what I actually spent that money on. A lot of the time, the note isn't really necessary, but I like to put it in for every entry just so that I build the habit of actually filling it in. After my cash purchases, I then go and have a look at my EFTPOS and credit card purchases. To record these, I start by exporting a digital copy of my bank statements for both accounts, and then I compare these to the receipts that I've collected just to make sure that everything is accounted for. The nice part about the bank statement files I get is that they have a lot of the information that I typically record already in an Excel file. All I really need to do is make sure that the numbers are in the right format for my spreadsheet, make sure that the description fits the style I want for my notes, and then copy the date, note, and amount over into my spreadsheet. Then the only thing I really need to do is fill in the category and subcategory for each entry. On the screen at the moment, I just have an example of that process. I've actually already recorded these credit card entries into my budget, but just so you guys can see what I mean, I'm doing it again on camera for you. Some of the entries I don't bother renaming, as they're not going to end up in my spreadsheet. In particular, the entries associated with me just moving money between my accounts. My spreadsheet is more for recording money in and money out, rather than me moving money around. After this, it's on to shared items, the bulk of which is groceries. Here I utilize my bill splitter tab, and in that I just need to list out the amount for each item, the subcategory of the grocery that it falls under, and the split of who that item is for. I know that to a lot of people this would seem like a bit of overkill, but I ain't paying for Vogel's addiction to nice cheeses, and I don't expect him to pay for my addiction to Coke Zero. Again, this is the system that we use, and it works for us, it won't necessarily work for other people. Once I've filled in which items belong to who, I can then copy the summary at the bottom over to my daily log tab. You can also see that shared items can be recorded in here by making it so that there's a portion number under the columns for both Vogel and I. So for instance, if we go halves on an item, we have 1 portion each, but if we bought, say, 3 bags of chips and he had 2 of them, then I can record that I got 1 portion and he got 2. Again, overkill for some, but this is how we do. As we go through and work out who paid for what for who, and thus how much we owe each other, we also update this on the tab down the bottom here that says owings, and we make sure to check our final owing numbers are the same before we finish our budgeting. Hopefully you enjoyed today's tidbit and found it insightful. Now to checking off tasks, and the first one I can check off is budgeting. I'm also going to cross it off over here, because I've essentially decided that because I have good space on this running to-do list, I'm going to use it for this week as well, because it's here, so why not? I can also cross off that I did transfer my money. I did the marking for the electricity test. I didn't finish my desk tidy, so I'm not crossing that one off. I did photograph some of my pages, and I did put the dishwasher on. In terms of the things that I want to get done today, flipping back to my holiday to-do list. So, marked my electricity test. Today I think I'd like to finish the year 8 marking for B and C. Okay, where am I going to write this? I don't know if you guys noticed, but I actually put the highlight for Tuesday a line higher than the highlight for Monday, so now it's kind of all off kilter a bit, which is kind of frustrating, but I'll put it here. In terms of some other things I'd like to do today, our bookshelf arrived, so I would like to set up the bookshelf. Couple of other things to do. And I'll probably leave it as that for today because I still want to get my inbox 0, which I technically started that, so I'm going to half cross that off. So I do technically still want to get my inbox 0 and my desk tidy finished along with these things. So I'll just leave that for now. I might add some more things. We'll see what happens. Flipping back to my monthly pages. So I probably should have noted down here that our bookcase was getting delivered. And can tick that off because it's happened. Already crossed off the electricity test. And we haven't quite set up the bookcase yet, so can't check that off. Hopefully we'll be able to tomorrow. Habit tracker. Not too sure why I didn't check off my morning pill yesterday, because I had it before filming. I have had that today. Didn't have fast food yesterday. Oop, can't actually check off that I finished work by 5, because I was up till 1 AM doing my marking. There we go. Thankfully these colours are similar enough that it doesn't bother me too much that there's that little extra orange part there. Last month though, when it was blue and yellow, it was a real problem if I coloured it in the wrong colour. I think I did that like twice. Let's see. Yeah, I can feel it. I did it here, where I coloured it in with blue instead of yellow. And I did it here, where I coloured it in with blue instead of yellow. But you might not actually be able to tell, there's 2 small pieces of paper stuck over them, which is the trick that I like to use when I actually want to cover something up. The nice part is that because these are each individual little boxes, the edge of the paper is hidden really well by the outlining, so win. Back to here though. Instagram comments did happen. Productivity did happen. Leisure time happened. Bujo fill-in happened. Evening pill happened. Uh-oh. I really need to start getting to bed at 10 PM like I've told myself because I am really tired. In terms of step count for yesterday, forgot to record that before I started filming, so I guess it's getting filled in tomorrow. Instagram. So I did photograph and then post my full weekly. And I did photograph my September challenges. Technically September social media is ready to be photographed, but I can't actually remember if I did photograph that. And then for YouTube, I have that today's is getting filmed. And yesterday's got done. Monthly challenges. So active minutes. I was so eager yesterday. I'm like, yep, I'm gonna get it done. And then I got halfway and then I don't even know. Today will be the day. I will get my active minutes today. You can hold me to that. Tomorrow I will be filling in the little 8 box in pink. Now, monthly challenge on money, I need to go check my budget. So on the 2nd, I only spent $20-ish. Scram. On the 3rd, I spent $34. On the 5th, I spent $29. On the 6th, I spent $8.40. And then on the 7th, I spent $6.37. Again, as we talked about yesterday, this doesn't include like all of my spending. It's only things that weren't strictly necessary. So these amounts don't include things like bills or essential groceries. For my one word a day, I think that the word for yesterday is going to be Bomberman. And I know how garden turned out, which was supposed to be gardening, so I'm going to need to make this smaller. And use a pen that isn't running out. Again, for the word for today, we're not even halfway through the day, or well actually it just went 12:05 where I am at the time of recording this, so, but still, not quite finished. Meal log. Now I don't need you guys to tell me that chips and dip is not an appropriate breakfast food, but this morning I honestly wasn't really that hungry, so I just grabbed some leftover chips and dip from yesterday. Maybe had like 5 chips just so I could have my pill. I'm sure I'll have something more substantial for lunch. She lied. Moving into my PowerSheets though. So again, working my way from the bottom up, YouTube comments did happen. Mindful eating did not really, I don't know. This one's tricky because for some meals it totally happens, but then it's usually at the end of the day I'm just like craving all the things and then I end up having like 2 bowls of cereal and being really full and blah. So, not gonna tick it off. Can't tick off water, can't tick off 3x3 reflection, and that's why on my to-do list for today, I have to digitize this. I think that if I just have to write it down in something like an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document, it'll actually happen. And 7,000 steps didn't happen. Again, it's because I'm at home and I just don't feel the need to move around. A lot of what I want to do is at my computer, so I'm sitting. Though, I do appreciate some of the tips that you guys gave me. I will be trying to get to 7,000 today. Considering I'm also trying to get my active minutes, hopefully that actually happens. For anybody who's watching, me included, if you need it, go have some water. In terms of weekly action items, haven't done a Bujo collection just yet. Meal planning happens on the weekend, so will the face mask and the chores. Trying a new recipe is going to happen tonight, but hasn't happened yet, so I can't check it off. And in terms of my monthly action items, I did play some more of Bomberman, so I can fill that in a little bit more. But other than that, nothing's really happened. Also, as a side note, if any of you guys have Xbox Live, my gamer tag is JashiiCorrin, and I'd love to be your friend. Thank you for watching, team. If you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you wanted to see more from me, feel free to go check out one of my other videos. Until next time, bye!